Hey everybody, welcome back. I'm Jessica Brodie, and this is Shining the Light. You probably have gathered this, but I am one of those really dorky, dorktastic people. I read everything all the time. When I was a kid, I used to just read the cereal box because this was before cell phones, and I, for whatever reason, found it way too boring to just sit there and eat my cereal, so no, I would read the cereal box. In the shower sometimes I can't just wash my hair. No, I have to read the back of the shampoo and the conditioner. And of course, if you're anything of an overachiever like I am, you think, oh, how does this work? How can I use this product to be as great as it can possibly be? And on the back of the conditioner, a lot of times it says, leave on 3 minutes and rinse with warm water. Not hot, not cool, warm water. Or maybe it says, follow with a cool water rinse, or whatever it says. I would follow those directions to a T because I wanted it to do a great job. And hey, and I think about that sometimes. There are times when maybe my hair just feels dry, and my bald-headed husband cannot relate to this in the least. My son thinks it's silly, but any of you ladies out there, maybe guys too, who have a problem with dry hair, after I shampoo and rinse all the water out, and then you put the conditioner in, you always put it in, I always put it in from, here down, and I let it sit for a while, and it feels like it's working extra hard. Maybe I'll leave it in a good 5 minutes, and when I rinse it out, it's all silky smooth, and it feels lush and moist and beautiful, and everything's great. But other times I just kind of rush through it. I rinse it and I forget about it. And then later I have knots, or it just doesn't feel so right. Well, the point of this story is that it reminds me a lot of something I read recently in the book of James. Now, I love the book of James. James is a really interesting book. In fact, I once did a Bible study at church, and it was all about James, and it was really, really good. So if you've never read the book of James, just dig in. I mean, there are so many interesting nuggets, like you must be doers of the word and not just hearers, and faith without works. There's a lot about finding joy in adversity. But one thing that really hit me in James, and I'll read it to you now, this is actually from the New Living Translation. James 1:22-25. Don't just listen to God's word. You must do what it says. Otherwise, you are only fooling yourselves. For if you listen to the word and don't obey, it is like glancing at your face in a mirror. You see yourself, walk away, and forget what you look like. But if you look carefully into the perfect law that sets you free, and you do what it says, and don't forget what you heard, then God will bless you for doing it. So for whatever reason, that reminded me about just putting the conditioner on my hair and letting it soak, really letting it sink in and saturate into every strand. When we read the Bible and we just read it and move on, or we go to church and we hear the sermon and we move on, or maybe we turn on Christian radio and we're jamming to just a good song, and then we arrive at our destination and we forget all about it. It's like it's in one ear and out the other, and it doesn't stick, and it doesn't do us any good, and it doesn't do God any good either. But if we give it time, let it sit, marinate, let it soak in, let it do all it has to do. Really think on it and pray on it, meditate on it, maybe read it, come back to it, somehow sear it into our hearts and into our brains in some way, really, really soak in. It works so much better. It's not just a fickle read and move on, but it's part of who we are now. Now, obviously, hair is nothing. You cut it, you can shave your head, it'll grow back, maybe it won't. It doesn't matter. It's just hair, it's dead. But our souls are forever. So when it comes to God's word, think about letting it rest in you and fully saturate your heart. Really think about it, and don't just hear and move on. Don't just glance in the mirror and go. Like James said, really look, really listen, really sit in that truth and let it impact you. Can you imagine all the beautiful things that you'll be doing if we all did that? You know, life can be crazy busy. There are days I feel like I'm going 90 miles an hour. My son is just about to turn 15, and it feels some days like he was born just 2 years ago. I mean, time, it genuinely flies. Don't let time go so fast that you're not taking those moments to really think about God and think about His Word and think about what is so important. Let it impact your life. Let it transform you and change you and use you and transform the world. That's all for this week, friends. Have a great day. God bless you.